Hey, Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knight fans, Andrew Mossbrooks here, voice of the Knights, alongside head coach Tom Kowal, and we're going to be talking about a couple of different things on this edition of Coach's Corner. We missed last week, so we have a lot to get to, and Coach, let's start with, I guess now the older announcement, but a very important one at that. Forward Jeffrey Bertrand and goaltender Samuel Vyletelka have been named to the NHL's Central Scouting list for this year. Of course, the NHL draft coming up in Vancouver, June of 2019. The Knights are the only East Division team to have anybody selected, and they have two. Coach, first talk about two-parter here. For the players, what do you think that means for them, and what about you as a coach?
No, for the players, it's who you play for. Even back when I used to play, us as a staff were talking about it. I'd love to be on Central Scouting list. It's the first step to being an NHL hockey player, being recognized. It doesn't mean you're going to be an NHL hockey player. It doesn't mean the guys that aren't named aren't going to be NHL hockey players. But at a young age, it's their draft this year. It's a great honor, in my opinion, for those two boys to be recognized so early in the draft season that they could be a possible draft pick. And from the organization, outstanding. Our recruiting staff has done a great job getting players, recruited that have that potential of that skill. And to be recognized as an organization, like you said, the only one in the East, have two NHL prospects on a team is puts a little pressure on the staff that we better produce. But at the end of the day, it's a great honor for the organization to be able to recognize those two players and have them part of our Knights family.
To the people that don't know them, Vyletelka is new to the Knights, and Jeffrey Bertrand has already made a collegiate commitment to Penn State University at the Division I level. What can you tell us about those two players and what they bring to the table?
Jeffrey had an opportunity last year. We recruited him pretty hard last year, and from the U16 Alaska Oilers team, and so he ended up playing a handful of games for us last year. So he's kind of a half of a rookie. He played a half season already. So Jeffrey's a great skilled player. Obviously, you see Penn State, I recognized that early and got on him early. I think we're planning on big things from him this year. Samuel's a kid that came right out of youth hockey, the Short Little Caesar program that our recruiting staff found, and we ended up drafting in our draft. We had two goalies drafted, and you can see both goalies are playing great. But Samuel's been coming in. He's wish our guys could play a little better in front of him, but he's definitely been a backstop for us when he plays in the net, and he's fitting real well with our hockey team in the locker room.
You talk about two goalies. I guess I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Zach Stagecole for just a little bit, because since our last conversation, he's been named the NAHL East Division Star of the Month or Star of the Week for one of the weeks. He's also just a heck of a guy in net. He won 4 straight games in which he made 40 saves or more in each of them, made 50 saves in one of the games that he lost, but he allowed 2 goals on 50-plus shots. This guy, I think, could be your candidate for player of the season to start so far. So what do you think of Stagecole?
Anytime you have a great goaltender, your team's going to do well. We were very fortunate last year to have 2 great goalies, and one of them got hot towards the end and took us to the Robinson Cup. But our guys have confidence in Zach. They have confidence in both our goalies. But Zach came to us from the USHL, already committed to Minnesota Duluth. He came in here and has really built his own confidence, but built the respect of our players in front of him. And he's producing. I was talking with our goalie coach Andre yesterday, and he still has it under 1 goal. Goals against. It's unbelievable. So all these shots are getting on him, but we're doing a better job of trying to limit those shots on him so he doesn't have too many 50-shot nights again. But more importantly, he's done his job.
Right.
And he came in as our number 1 goalie, and it's his job to keep that spot. Obviously, Samuel's pushing him really hard, but Zach has been able to produce some wins for us, and we're very happy to have him in the goal for us as much as we can.
You're 5-5-1 so far to start the season, and the most recent games, it was a 3-game set against the Northeast Generals. You take 2 of 3 from there, which I think most coaching staffs would be pretty happy about. So can you kind of evaluate the recent weekend and grabbing 4 out of 6 points?
Grabbing 4 out of 6 points against our East Division rival, the Northeast Generals. Obviously you look in our division, every team's beating everybody, and everyone's, it's going to be a dogfight from day one. I told my team that you can't really lose we're defending the title right now.
Right.
And you can't really lose the title. You're not necessarily going to win the title in October, but you can put yourself in a bad hole if you don't do well early in the year. So, obviously getting 2 out of 3 wins, I'm very happy. The staff is very happy. We wanted that third one. We wanted to sweep the weekend, but early in the year right now, we're very happy with the way our boys are playing. We're getting our skill, we're getting our confidence built up, and the younger guys are getting another day of a junior experience every day we come to the rink.
Right. I think a couple of players that have to do with the weekend. Gabe Temple had a big weekend. Adrian Danchenko, I really liked his game. What about those two guys?
Adrian Danchenko is a gentleman that came back from the USHL right at the deadline there. He's been in our organization for the past 3 seasons, just committed to Alabama Huntsville over the summer. He came and his job is to produce. I mean, he was a couple hours away from being a USHL hockey player. So to come down and play in the North American League, and he's expected to play some offense. Being a returner for a couple years, knowing our systems or our staff, but more importantly, he's an offensive guy. So you see him playing penalty kill. He got a goal the other night, shorthanded goal.
Yep.
I think he produced about 5 or 6 points over the weekend. Obviously, probably a candidate for Player of the Week. But more importantly, we're very happy with the way Adrian's playing. And Strand, Strand has been good on the blue line. Temple, like you mentioned, has been really well. Temple, he's arguably a first or second line center for us, and another returner that barely didn't make the USHL. So our returners are doing very well up front. They're producing points, and they're, when you put the combination of our goaltending with Danchenko and Temple, more importantly, you see we win 2 out of 3.
Right, yeah, 3-headed dog right there. So one thing, I guess, sort of to go here off of Johnstown Tomahawks. They're going to be coming into town. You guys are going to be wrapping up a 5-game homestand here at the Revolution Ice Center Friday and Saturday. Johnstown Tomahawks have a kid by the last name of Briere. He's the son of an NHL player, Danny Briere, who spent some time in the Keystone State Philadelphia Flyers, of course. This is another pretty good team, Tom, and you look up and down the East Division, you're right. Over the first month of the season, everybody's beating everybody. So what's the mode of attack there, and what do you see as a coaching staff about the Johnstown Tomahawks that maybe is different from Northeast?
Well, first benefit is we've already played them 2 times. We played them our first weekend of the season, so we have an idea what type of team they got. So going into preparing for the week, preparing for the Friday, Saturday game against them, we have an idea because we've already played them. But Johnstown, hey, they're an older group of guys that have, like you said, Briere, some very good, skilled veteran players on their team right now. And, we feel we're a better hockey team than they saw a month ago because, we were young. We were kind of stage shocked a little bit of junior hockey. And I think when we lost that game, I told my team, welcome to junior hockey. But more importantly, they're first place. And they're a team that we need to beat to catch them. And we can't count on anybody else to do our work for us. So we feel if we do our own work against Johnstown this weekend, we actually have a home with them. So we have Johnstown the next 4 games. So we're hoping it can be, they had our number last year. I think it's Wilkes-Barre's turn this year to catch up, make up for the 2 losses, and get back to being 500 against them.
Try and reverse that trend from a year ago. The Johnstown Tomahawks come to Revolution Ice Center Friday, October 19th. It's a 7 p.m. puck drop, followed by a rematch on the 20th at 3:30 p.m. That's going to wrap up this 5-game homestand. It's 1 of 2, and they're both tied for the longest homestands this year for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights. I want to remind you that those games are available on Hockey TV. Again, you can also come in person to the Revolution Ice Center. And that'll do it for this edition of Coach's Corner. Real quick, remind everybody to follow us and keep up to date with those games, those schedules, those recaps, WBSKnights.com. You can also check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Head coach of the NAHL Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights, Tom Kowal. Appreciate the time.
Thank you very much, Andrew.